one of our brewers is rated #1 in the world, and we have one of the beers #1 in the world. And while we think all of our beers are amazing, the quality is absolutely superior. And so that's the Vermont brand has become, actually stands for just that quality.
Who is it that makes sure quality remains at the forefront for all Vermont brewers? The Vermont Brewers Association, also called the VBA.
The Vermont Brewers Association provides support to all the other breweries. It's a blanket marketing entity, so to speak. We work closely with other state agencies, and we have to make sure that everybody's on board with what we're doing, and that we have their support, they have our support, and that the VBA itself is a viable entity.
Protecting the Vermont brand is very important, not only to the brewers, but to state leaders as well.
There was a point where there were a core group of members of the VBA that felt it was important for us to make sure that not just everybody, not just anybody, a home brewer or whatever, could just go out there and make beer and start to promote it as part of the Vermont brand, and perhaps not make a high quality product.
And it's the VBA that puts on the Vermont Brewers Festival every year.
The VBA does a fantastic job putting on this event, and they're a great organization. They really help us out, get laws passed that help benefit our industry.
While the Vermont Brewers Festival is about enjoying the beer, the VBA also wants to make sure consumers get more than a taste, but an understanding of how your beer palate will mature.
The Vermont Brewers Association, one of their mission statements is education. We pursue that here by offering beer and cheese pairings and beer and chocolate, because beer is so important to food and food pairings, and whatever you put on your palate really changes some of the qualities or enhances different qualities of the beer.
Chad Rich owns the Prohibition Pig, a restaurant and brewery in Waterbury, Vermont. He sees the transformation of beer drinkers.
Do you think that the beer drinker themselves, that we become more aware, and when we're drinking a beer, that your palate is just kind of growing as we learn more about beer?
Most definitely. In the time that I've been involved with it here, I've seen the palates go from wanting sweeter beers to just loving the more bitter beers, hoppier, and the customer is very well educated nowadays, and they know what they want, and definitely these types of events right here help expose people to more of these products as well.
He says the magnitude of beer tourism in Vermont has only just begun.
Beer tourism is huge, and I don't even think we really understand how big it is. Even the hardware stores down the road sell out of coolers when they're trying to load up with Petty Topper. So it's definitely, a lot of people are calling it Waterbury or the IPA Highway.
Vermont has really become a place to visit all year round now. I mean, with these brew tours, you could really make a whole week of it with a family and hit all the breweries.
Absolutely. There's the classic Route 100 brewery tour. If you're going to hit Hill Farmstead and Lost Nation, and soon the new Alchemist. There's the Interstate and Route 7. There's some great new breweries popping up in the south. So, you can really visit any part of Vermont at any time in the year and not only enjoy great outdoor activities, but some fantastic beer.
And if you're planning on coming to Vermont, gas up the car, grab a passport. The Vermont Brewers passport, that is.
Well, hey, Steve, thanks a lot for having me over today. It's a real pleasure to sit down with you and talk about brewing in Vermont.
Yeah, pleasure to have you here too, Steve, no doubt about it. Yeah. The Vermont Brewers Association has this awesome passport program. It was something that began in 2007, where we have everybody's logo on a small piece of paper, and so visitors from in-state or out-of-state are able to pick those actual physical brochures up at any of the breweries, or they were able to go to the Vermont Brewers Association website and print them out. We have 37 breweries today. I mean, it's what is it? It's August of 2014. We're projected to have another 3 more, so 40 by the end of the year. The passport program has been expanding and expanding. We print over 30,000 of the actual passports. Not only that, and then everybody can get them online as well. Last year, over 1,000 were submitted for some of the prizes that we offer. T-shirts and pint glasses and magnets and stickers and bumper stickers, things like that, a whole bunch of different items. So of those thousands that were turned in, over 1,000, about 200 came from the state of Vermont, which is very cool to know, is over 800 were from out of state. They come from the other New England states, but then the Northeast too. They come from New York, they come from New Jersey, they come from Pennsylvania. So people are making the sojourn to Vermont to experience that beer.
Steve, a big part of what I do, both with my family, but also the amount of time I spend traveling around the state, I often find myself driving Route 7, driving Route 2, driving 89, and a lot of times, I'll have a few minutes to spare, or I'll take a moment where I have some time to grab a bite to eat, and I'll always look right away to try and call up, what's the closest brewery to me now? I've participated in the Brewery Passport. I may have been one of the first to participate when it first came out. My father and I are home brewers together, so we often get out a lot to try and get some ideas and try some of the different beers that are around the state. And really, no matter which route you take in Vermont, you're surprised to find that some of the best beers in the East Coast or in the country are brewed just 5 or 10 miles away. So. It's really amazing as you travel from south, the most southern part of the state, all the way up to the most northern part. There are just some fantastic places to stop. And it's not just a quick 5-minute pop-in, it's a full experience. You get to see the process, you get to meet the people who are doing the work, you get to see all of the things that go into producing these great craft beers, the pride of the brewers and the owners that goes into this process. And no matter what season it is, whatever season, whether it's winter, summer, fall, or spring, you can always visit these places and you can just smell the malts and the hops and the steam and all the work that's going into producing these. And I think that's the exciting part. That's how you truly get to know one of our small Vermont craft brewers, is to visit and see how it all happens. We love working with the Vermont Brewers Association. We love to share the word of that Brewery Passport so that people can actually visit the sites where these craft beers are located, because I think that's where you get a real feel for where that flavor comes from, is to have a conversation with the brewers, see the land where those brews are being produced, and that's really the direction we're going. We want to see more people participate and see the process so that they have a strong understanding of what makes Vermont stand out as one of the best states for producing beer in the U.S.
So here's what you can do. Print out a passport online, scout out which brewers you want to visit, and get your passport stamped at each brewery. Once you've stopped at all of them, you'll get a prize and become part of the elite group of people who have completed the Vermont Brew Tour.